DACA is back, and you can send in your applications today because a judge on Friday, December 4th, 2020, said that USCIS must accept new applications. Hi, everyone. I'm immigration attorney Andres Mejer. You probably heard the news that came out late on Friday. USCIS was ordered to reinstate DACA to its pre-2017 status. Let me explain a little more. If this sounds familiar, it's because I've said it before. And then USCIS decided they were going to ignore the courts and not accept new applications or advance parole. And DACA renewals and work authorizations were only going to be good for 1 year instead of the 2 that they were initially created for. Everyone whose hopes were up was then disappointed. Is that going to happen again? I think we're in a different place today than we were in July. DACA, which stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, was signed into law as an executive order by President Obama. The 2012 program was open to undocumented immigrants who came to the country before they were 16 years old and who were 30 years or younger as of June 2012, basically when the program was instituted. They also had to be students, have a GED or a high school diploma, and couldn't have had a criminal record. There were 2 parts to it. One was for dreamers. Those were people who brought to the U.S. as children and who didn't have a legal status, and one for parents. Remember, DACA does not give people legal status. It only says that it only stays or stops their deportation and gives them employment authorization. A Texas court struck down the section about the parents of dreamers, but the sections for the people who came as children remained. When President Trump came into office, he said he would come up with a way for dreamers to get legal status. He has yet to do that, and with little over a month left in office, it's unlikely he will. But he tried to get rid of DACA by having DHS stop accepting new applications and looking at a phasing out of DACA. There were lawsuits filed immediately, and it eventually went to the Supreme Court. In June, they issued their decision, which said that the Trump administration could not end DACA, again, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the way they did because it had not followed the Administrative Procedures Act. Everyone was elated, but the Supreme Court sent the case back to the federal court for final orders. While the judge was reviewing the law and decision of the Supreme Court, USCIS on July 28, 2020, issued a memo, or in other words, a new policy, saying that they disagreed with the Supreme Court decision and they would not be accepting new DACA applications from new applicants. They also said they would renew DACA for current holders, but only for 1 year instead of the 2 years. Same thing with work authorization. It would only be for 1 year instead of the 2 years that they were supposed to. Since Trump started his war on immigration, there have been many lawsuits filed against him. But since March, judges throughout the country have been saying the leaders of DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and USCIS, that's United States Citizen Immigration Services, their leaders put into their position inappropriately. So anything those leaders decided and wrote down into policy, basically since April 2019, is invalid. Court after court after court has made that decision. What does that mean for DACA? That means that USCIS could not refuse to accept new applications for DACA in July 2020. USCIS could not change the time period from 1 year to 2. And on Friday, Judge Garofis said the USCIS must post a public notice within 3 calendar days. So that means today, Monday, December 7th, 2020, that new DACA applications can be submitted and they will be accepted. Work authorization and DACA approvals will be for 2 years. And he also said they must accept advance parole applications from DACA holders. Why is this last part so important? I covered it in a video previously, but briefly. If you apply for advance parole, it allows you to leave the US and then enter legally, which may be a route to obtain a legal status if at some point you marry a US citizen who files for you, or you have a child that's over 21 years old and a US citizen, they could apply for you and you would legally get your green card inside the United States. So yes, this is great news. But we had the great news back in June, and USCIS defied the Supreme Court with so far no consequences. So what is my recommendation for people who want DACA or hold DACA and want advance parole? File now. Get your application in ASAP. It is highly unlikely that your application would be processed in the time it will take to get a new president, but it will get you in line. And don't forget, President Biden was vice president when Obama signed the executive action. He is not likely, he has said categorically, he will not eliminate it. So we are going to have a different administration with a different philosophy. President-elect Biden has already said he's going to reinstate DACA and will try to put a plan in place for providing legal status to 11 million people in the U.S. without legal status. But don't wait for a new plan that may or may not come to reality. DACA is here today, and if you qualify, you should file. I can tell you that our office fully expects to be extra busy with applications for clients with this new administration. We are advising everyone to get the process going today to get their legal status. If you put it off, you will be waiting even longer. Call us to get started. Thanks for watching.